Welcome to Hope and Help, the podcast that encourages listeners to see that no matter what life throws at you, there's always hope. You just need to know where to look. If you find value in these conversations, don't forget to follow and subscribe on YouTube or your favourite podcast platform, so you never miss an episode. If you're inspired by what you hear, we'd appreciate you leaving a review. It helps others discover the podcast, but also spreads the hope even further.
My first client in the prison was Myra Hindley. She had a bad hip.
I could see myself, my younger self, looking out of that window.
I wanted to start learning.
What was it that made you think, right, I've got to stop committing crime?
Newcastle United was more of a commitment, and he just said to me, I'd like you to travel with the first team.
I said to Tom, you know what, I think you'll work with me one day.
I don't miss the job, but I do miss the people.
This is a young man's game, this. Give somebody else a chance.
So Lenny, obviously you got a qualification as a physio. Where did that take you, as well as the prison service?
So I had the opportunity to...
How did it happen? Yeah, how did it happen?
I spoke to people, I was listening to people, and I had a colleague at Durham, Mick Greener, and Mick had done this course, which was quite in depth, and I didn't know about it until I started it. I did a little bit of research on it, but the prison service gave me a chance, and I mentioned at the beginning that when I went to school, I didn't engage that much in it, and sport was the thing. And I seen this course and other courses as an opportunity to learn. I wanted to start learning what I didn't do at school. I seen it as a second chance. The prison service paid for me to do my BA honours degree as well, you know, so I owe them quite a bit. Mm-hmm. Then I did this treatment of injuries course, and I went away and did the course. That took me 2 years to get that qualification. And I mentioned a guy by the name of Mick Greener, and he said to me, I mean, it really is in depth. It was huge learning. What a journey. Exam after exam after exam. And it was, I loved it. I loved every minute of it. And he said to me, if you don't use it, you'll lose it.
Yeah.
And it stuck with me. And I knew that some other colleagues had used it to get into professional football. And I also mentioned at the beginning that professional football, and I thought, this is the way to. And Mick was heavily involved at Newcastle United through his qualification. And I just said to him, because I started using it in the prison, and I was my first client in the prison was Myra Hindley. Yeah. She had a bad hip, and I had once I was qualified, the gym manager was sending me down to Aittring, as it was. Well, you can go down there and you can write her a program and you can do this, that, and the other. And of course, I did it, and then. I knew Mick was involved at Newcastle United, and he just said to me, do you want to apply this qualification outside? And I said, yeah, of course. Have you got something in mind? And he said, well, I'm going to take you to Darlington. So him and I tootled off down to Darlington Football Club when it was Old Feetham's, and Jim Platt was the manager.
Yeah.
And we walked into this office, as it were, in a wooden hut. And he introduced me, and I started working with the under-19s, but it was only match days. There was no payment, there was no money changed hands, there was no nothing. And it was kind of it was a learning curve. And I thoroughly enjoyed it. And Darlington ended up playing Newcastle United under-19s, and we were playing down at Hoffel, and it's in the centre of the running pitch. And it was like a snooker table, football pitch. And these lads are playing, and I'm looking at Newcastle United, and I'm thinking these lads they've got a great chance, more than the Darlington lads have got. And kind of everybody's on show, you know. Because we're playing Newcastle United, and I just looked across and I recognised that Derek Wright, the first team physio, was physioing for Newcastle United under-19s that day. And it kind of struck me as, well, why is he doing that? He's the senior physio. Anyway, we got chatting at the end of the game. And he said, would you be interested in coming to work for us? And I said, well, yeah, of course. And he invited me down to the training ground. He got a bit of background on me. I told him I worked at Durham. Well, Mick was already at Newcastle United. And he invited me down to the training ground. And of course, I could walk because they were training at Hoffel. So
that was at Maiden Castle, wasn't it?
Maiden Castle in Durham, yes, at
yeah,
Hoffel, yeah. And I walked down one dinner hour. And of course, the crowd's what used to go for the training sessions at Newcastle United.
Me.
So I've walked into the centre, and Derek says, if you just care to come with me, he says, we'll just have a chat. And he opened this door, and I walked in, and there's Kevin Keegan sitting there with Derek Fazakali. And I walked in, and I just froze. I absolutely froze. Sit down, Derek says. Sits down. He introduces me. And I ended up working with their under-19s for a long while with a gentleman called John Carver. And John is a character in himself. He really looked after me. And then obviously Keegan went and other managers came. It was Ruud Gullit. And a lot of people and a lot of Newcastle United fans don't like him.
He was a good footballer though.
But he was a great footballer, and to be perfectly honest, he looked after his staff. Most managers kind of overlook staff, whether that's on purpose or not. They're more interested in the footballers.
Yeah, of course.
But without the staff, the footballers...
Yeah.
And Ruud Gullit held that belief.
There's a theme here, isn't there? Without the staff.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So my first game was under Ruud Gullit, and we went to Leeds United, and I was just in awe.
Yeah, of course.
You know, and starstruck.
Yeah.
We won 1-0. Steve Howie scored the goal, and from then on, I just worked with the first team, and I've been all over the world with them. And all of this has come on the back of the prison service investing in me. So I owe them for that. And you asked me at the beginning, Gary, do I still do private work? And I do. And
that was out of desperation.
Yes, I know. But the point I'm going to make is that some people will say to me, well, how much do you want? Nothing. I don't want anything, because I've had all of that and it's time to put a bid back. And if I can help people, I will. 9 times out of 10, I can't. But I'll give it a go.
This episode is brought to you by Curious Matter Productions, turning up the volume on society's forgotten voices. The series Hope in Hell is a platform for amplifying raw, real stories of survival, despair and triumph, told through open, honest and powerful conversations, because no matter what life throws at you, there's always hope.
I was at Newcastle United I went there in 97 and I left them in 2007. And we had a strong Irish contingent playing for us at the time. Shea Given, Damien Duff, Stephen Carr, Andy O'Brien. We had quite an Irish contingent playing for us. And they kind of poached me. And I went off to have an interview with Steve Staunton, who was the manager of the Republic of Ireland at the time. And I thought, well, Newcastle United was more of a commitment. And Newcastle United was more of a commitment, whereas I would work there on my rest days and I'd put annual leave in to go and work there, and I'd be away on a weekend. I'd be travelling away, and then there was pre-season tours. And I thought, well, this is going to be interesting, an international setup, because they go in for 5 days or 10 days and then you're out again.
Yeah.
So that commitment was kind of condensed. So off I tootled, went to the Republic of Ireland, totally different. Loved every minute of it. Sometimes it was questioned because the Republic of Ireland and the history behind it, and I was an Englishman working in amongst them.
Yeah.
But treated very well. Great experience. Totally different Newcastle United. And then that came to an end. We went off to play in the Euros. Steve Staunton got sacked, and Giovanni Trapattoni took over. And we went off to the Euros in 2012, and I was away from home about 5 weeks. We were in a group with Spain and Italy and Croatia, so we were on a hide and nothing as it was anyway. We got knocked out of the tournament very early. We came back, we were flying back, and it was on the aircraft, and they just said, well, we'll renew your contract. And I just said, no, I'm done. I'm done. So I'd had like 15 years of trying to work in the prison service, trying to work in professional football, and also I was teaching in the community with treatment of injury courses and this, that and the other, and it was just, I need a break. That was 2012. I was only back probably a year out, and Derek rang me again. Come up to the training ground, he said, and I said, no. And he said, please come up to the training ground. So I went up to Newcastle United again. We sat down, I sat down with the doctor, and it was okay, it was fine. I think I went back under, I think McLaren was the manager at the time. That was interesting as well. And then another initiative came off the back of that, and it was, although I'd still be working for Newcastle United, I wouldn't be involved with the playing staff. It was an initiative which it's the PGMOL, it's the Professional Game Management, so it's referees and officials, to look after them, physio-wise. And I thought, well, that'll be interesting. So I kind of got steered to that, and I started doing that, and I thoroughly enjoyed it.
Just home games though?
I just did match day home games, and I looked after the match day officials.
Yeah.
And I really enjoyed it, and I loved it. And I did that for quite a few years, and then it just got to the point, and I knew I'd had enough.
Yeah.
And I was in pain, I was having a lot of problems, and I thought, this is a young man's game, this. Give somebody else a chance. So I just contacted them and said, that's it, I'm done. And it was the Liverpool game was the last game that I did. Obviously, I had to step aside when COVID was happening. But then I went back after that. And I think that break was a realisation. And I didn't really enjoy it as much after that. And got to that game, and I thought, I'm done here. I've had enough.
I'm going to put you on the spot now, Len.
Yeah.
Of all the managers you worked at Newcastle, who would you put as the best?
It's different question, isn't it?
No, that is the question.
Do you? Okay. So do you mean from a personal?
Who did you enjoy working with the most?
The most? And are you including international managers as well?
No, just Newcastle.
Okay, so I would have to say.
I'm going to fall out with you now.
Yeah. I would have to say, from a personal point of view, it'd be Graham Souness.
Right.
That's who.
Why?
Because he looked after his staff, and he was quite a disciplinarian. He demanded that staff did their best. He demanded that players did their best. He was forthright. I just enjoy. I didn't feel uncomfortable around him. I didn't think he had an air and a grace about him. Look, I've talked to you about Sir Bobby.
Sir Bobby, yeah.
He was a different entity altogether. As a man manager with his players, he was the best. All of these things which I've done have all come from physical education, you know, and I've been very, very fortunate, really fortunate.
There's a huge theme, isn't there, when hearing you both talk, helping people and effecting positive change. Is a huge thing throughout everything that you have done, career-wise.
Sometimes though in the prison service, Gary, I never had the amount of time that I have now.
Yeah.
And that's why I find this job a little bit better than...
A little bit better.
A little bit.
A lot better. No, a lot
I think you
better.
need to change that.
Listen, my worst day here is better than my best day in there. Like,
yeah, but like I said
See,
earlier
people
on, I
say
don't
that-
remember the bad times.
It was funny, Lenny, right? So obviously, when I first ever saw Tom, and I was your Machiavellian prisoner.
Right.
I knew how to play it and keep your head
Yes.
down, and I've never been nicked, not once.
Right.
You know what I mean? Proud of that. So, and I was up to no good left, right, and centre, but I knew how to play it and I knew what the game was and the rules. So that when I saw Tom, obviously he's running about 17, half 18 stone, firm but fair.
Yeah.
And I'll say this now, you know, I know the nature of the whole thing's changed, and I do not advocate this in the least. But I like an officer to take his keys off.
Yes.
I like that kind of officer who says, right, you're going to do what we're asking.
Yeah.
I don't need to phone for backup. I'll have it now.
Yes.
I could respect that.
Yeah.
Simple
Yeah.
as.
and I've done that.
I know you have. I know. We were talking to the guy in jail. He says he bounced me from pillar to post, but I still love him. I respect him. I deserved it. That's what he said.
Yeah, he did.
But
Yeah.
But you know what I'm coming to. Tom, obviously, we meet. We you know, Tom comes in on his holidays and does a program with me, and we're both eyeing each other up. I'm like, and he did stitch us up, and it's well documented on the podcast that you did.
Yeah.
He gave us the most difficult people he could find to deal with,
And I did.
which was a pleasure. But I did it. You know,
Challenge,
and it
not
was
stitch
good.
up, Lenny. Challenge.
But he's out,
Test.
right? He'd been working with us for about 6-7 months, and he phones us one night, 10:30. Who's this? And he's down Durham. I think he'd been at the office.
I've been on a drink. Yeah.
And,
I was going to say you up at 10:30.
yeah.
I've been on a drink.
That's a novelty.
I slept for 2 hours in the club though.
He's working with a homeless guy in the moment, and he's going, look, I'm here with this guy. He's got nowhere to be. I'm trying to give him a few quid. And then he stopped me and went, what have you done to me?
Because I would have walked past him.
And to come back to the transition, when you mentioned the transition from Pentonville to, you know, Accrington, and then you know, there's that. When Tom first came in the prisons with me, we're in Diebold. So obviously we're in Diebold. This guy wanders past, he goes, where are you going?
Oh, you were a civilian.
Aye.
All right.
So
It was like literally my first day.
So the lad looks at him, he goes, what do you mean? He says, where are you going now? He goes, I'm going on there. He says, you're not like, I says, Tom, you're not at work. Then the alarm bells go, he's running. To react, he starts going to run.
That just prove what I said
So
earlier.
it's- yeah.
We are just
Yeah.
as institutionalised.
Absolutely. I forgot where I was.
And then we do a
You're
group.
hardwired.
Oh,
no,
definitely. We
I
get to
know.
the group, and obviously it's young guys in Diebold, and we use balls, right? So we pass a ball to someone and say, listen, tell us what you think, or who you think's made a great contribution to this group. But this one young guy's messing with the balls, so he's like,
My head was coming off.
sick of him. He says, I'm getting sick of him. I says, it's okay, just chill. It's all right, right? So at the end of it, he goes, he was getting right on my nerves. I says, I can just imagine you going home to your girlfriend tonight and saying, someone's threw a ball. I says, it used to be buckets of wee in there. Absolutely. I'm trying to stab you. So he started laughing.
You're getting irritated by that.
Yeah.
But that's you.
I lost his
You're
perspective.
hardwired.
Aye, I know.
You're hardwired.
I know.
But look, I've enjoyed the 37 years that I've done. The prison service has given me so much. I've met some fabulous people. I'm better for it. You do learn a craft, you know, and that's about people, you know, and that's what it's all about.
Well, I was
for
going
me.
to say, you become an expert on the human condition because
Absolutely.
you're just confronted with that sea of faces every day.
People often ask me, because I see them regular, Lenny, obviously, and they say, like, do you miss it? I don't miss the job, but I do miss the people.
Yeah, yeah.
And that's not just
true.
the staff.
Yeah.
That's prisoners
Prisoners as well. I've met, yeah.
Going in there every day was just, I just used to want to have a laugh with the lads.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I get it's serious. It can be serious. But if I can break that by just saying something to them or doing something with them, then I've won.
So there's one more
normal.
thing. There's one more thing that I want to say about what you've just said. That ability to connect and that thread,
Yeah,
you know,
absolutely.
and opening things up with humour and using the gym and stuff like that, and getting that work done. And my journey within the prison, I looked back, certainly when we won the bigger prison contracts. I mean, I won the contract for the 4 jails. Tom took me back to my old cell.
Right.
You know, I had 4 prisons. I had my keys in Diebold.
Yeah.
You know, it was crazy. You know, we're mad. You know, crazy journey. But some of the things
Can I
that...
ask you, go
Sorry, go on.
how did you feel when you seen that cell door?
Oh, yeah, well, I tell the story often. So in my mind, there was me and a farmer who he was locked up for drink driving. I'll forget his name, Alan Ridley, who sadly died about 5 years ago. And the officers put him in with me to look after him, you know. And that cell on E wing,
329.
In my mind, right, it became bigger and bigger and bigger till it was as big as this room we're in.
Right.
So similar to the forest you played in as a child where you're Robin Hood and you go back and it's 3 trees and a Tarzan swing. And he said, here, I'll take you back to your cell. I says, right, then. And I got up there and he opened the door and there was just 2 guys in it, cramped.
Yeah.
And bizarrely, I saw myself, the last time I was in there, I was on remand for 5 Section 18s and in a fray. So I could see myself, my younger self, looking out of that window. It was a bizarre moment. I got a flashback. And obviously then I recognised that the cell wasn't as big as this room.
Wow.
You know, so it was a big moment. Yeah. And like I say, having that contract and winning the contract for 4 prisons it's like a wild journey from coming from there. You know, 3 times in Durham, looking at life.
What would you have said to somebody if they'd said to you, when you're in years to come, you're going to win contracts and you're going to be working with, and what you're going to be doing now?
Yeah,
you couldn't write it, man.
No, well, I'd have thought that they'd taken an extreme amount of Class A drugs. That's what I'd have thought. And honest, generally, when I was doing the work in the prison, I said to Tom, you know what? I think you'll work with me one day.
Right.
And he burst out laughing. Obviously, you know, there's no, you know, that's a crazy thing. But within a year, I rang him and I offered him a job, and he came along. Like he and I going into the prisons. It's quite a unique thing, I think. You know, a long-term serving officer with someone who was entrenched.
Yes, it'd be interesting as well. You know, that you are now looking at it from a different angle.
Well, I said this the other day. Like my view, right, when I first joined, all right, I want to help people, but it was very black and white. If you don't want to go to prison, don't commit crime. If you don't want to be an addict, don't take drugs. It was very black and white.
You see, I'm still
totally
in that
different
mode.
now.
I'm still in that mode.
And remember when we joined, it was a disciplined service.
Yes.
So, you know, you're taking, your mentors are old school, hard line, that's the way it is. Yeah. Although that's mellowed over the years, and I suppose I have to a degree. And like going in as a civilian to prisons is different to going in uniform. They're a little bit more open. You get to know about that trauma. You know, and the circumstances. I mean, we went one of the Tamses, didn't we, in Dearbold, and he's an intelligent lad, but he's from a crime family. Durham Prison's always had a Tams in, hasn't it? Always. Yes. But as long as I can remember, there's been a Tams.
Sears,
Douglas, all of them. And he was saying, what chance did I have? But I never looked at it that way before. I didn't see the trauma. I didn't see they had no money.
One guy who sticks in my mind.
You don't get time to though, Tom.
No, you don't.
And that's my point,
though, Lenny. You don't get the time.
Less time these days.
Now I have.
Yes.
Less time.
So I've got more time to explore their backgrounds and the reasons. And like one of my favourite questions to a lot of prisoners is, what was it that made you think, right, I've got to stop committing crime? Because that fascinates me.
I always found that, I'm sorry to interrupt you.
Sorry, I'm banging the table.
No, that we used to see lads that start coming in at 21, then you'd see them again at 22, 23, 26. And then once they got into the 30s, that gap would become a little bit bigger. Then once they got the 40s, it would be once in a while.
Yeah, it's an age thing. It's an age thing, isn't it? Yeah.
It would stop altogether. And I always looked at it and think, well, there's something to be said for getting older and wiser, isn't there?
Indeed,
you know. But how do you stop that bracket there? And I just think you mentioned the prison me no way thing, and I just think there's in society today, when we were talking about that, there's certainly a lack of parental control.
Yeah.
The judiciary system is unfit for purpose. The law and justice never meet, and I just think there's an opportunity to take it back to educate. It's all about education, and that needs to go back into schools. It needs to be ingrained in people. But are we too late?
See,
is it too late to do that?
The thing that sort of attracted me to this was what Gary was as a criminal.
Yeah.
And he was a nasty man, let's be honest, man of extreme violence, drugs, the whole kit and caboodle, to CEO of his own company.
Yes, I know.
So I've always held him up. I do now. I hold him up as a perfect example. If you want something bad enough,
you can achieve anything.
Here's the example.
Yeah, I know.
And that it is effective, though, isn't it?
It's
you know. Yeah.
One success story.
But I do view crime differently.
When we go in the jails, they always think Tom's the ex-villain.
I know.
I'm going to tell you a quick one here.
Manchester.
Right. So we were. Gary, he mentioned that we were on the Union, and we went to Strangeways, which makes Durham look quite insignificant, really.
Yeah.
So we've gone into Strangeways, and on the centre of Strangeways, it is a radial jail. But it's strange, you can stand, they call it the rotunda, don't they? So it's this circular thing, and the stairs actually run on the wall to go up, and then all the wings run off. Anyway, we'd been on this POA thing.
We've been underneath, haven't we? Yeah.
Yeah, and we were looking at the way they operated and all this, that and the other. It was more of a jolly up, really.
It
wasn't
was.
And so we're standing on the centre this day, and there was a vending machine, wasn't there?
Aye.
And of course, Tom, liking his chocolate and all this, that and the other, decides that he's going to go off to this vending machine to get some chocolate. Was it a female?
A female
and
PO.
This female PO shouted at him, "Where are you going, lad?"
Because I look that tight, don't I?
I'm just standing there, and the penny didn't drop with me at first, and I thought she was speaking to somebody beyond Tom.
Yeah.
And she's saying, "I've just asked you where are you going. Where are you going?" So the next is, "I'm a member of staff." Well, of course, that became what we reported on when we came back to the jail. Tom nearly ended up in a cell for the night. If I'd thought on, we should have said, no, he's pestering the life of us.
I don't know who he is.
We've got no idea who he is. Can you please lock him up? But
You would have come back for us, though, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
So just in closing then.
Yes.
Well, thank you to you both for today, obviously,
No, thank you
and
for inviting
for
me,
your
Gary.
service as well. And I
Yeah.
do mean that. You know, that's a long time in the job and a long time doing a great job. So thank you for that as well. Is there anything in closing then that you would like to say?
A question I absolutely love. If you could give the 21-year-old Lenny a bit of advice, what would that advice be, Lenny?
21-year-old, I'd probably go back before that, Tom, and
All right.
that would probably be school. My scholastic years, that I wasted them.
Right.
I totally wasted them. And I'd probably, mind you, having said that, if I had done that, then I might not be sitting here with you guys.
You would have
I
had a
was just
different
about to
journey.
say that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because people have said to me, well, what would you have liked to have done? And it definitely would have been on the medical side of things. Would it have been a full-blown physio? I don't think so after I've seen them operating. I don't mean operating as in probably on the medical side of things.
Yeah.
And I probably would have studied harder and you know, but I probably wouldn't have had the pleasure of sitting here today and meeting all the people that I've met throughout my service. And
Well, I've got to say, it was a pleasure working with you, Lenny.
no, and
it was an absolute pleasure.
Likewise, Tom,
Yeah.
likewise. Yes, I know we had our differences at time, but
Oh, yeah.
there were good
Did I
differences.
tell you when he cleared me desk? Linda Elliott said, "Will I go after?" I said, "No, just let him go."
You know, that was passion for the job,
But
Tom.
I said, didn't I say that?
Yeah.
I said,
passion for the job.
Yeah, he told me that story and he actually used them words.
I didn't get upset over it because I knew
Said
it was
passion
all
for the
based
job.
on passion. You cared that much.
I did.
And the problem was, others in the
Couldn't get my own way.
others in the department didn't though, Len. I think you had what my favourite saying to you was, your standards, innit?
Yes, don't judge other people by your
standards because you'd be disappointed.
Absolutely.
You had such high standards.
It's always that case, but
yeah, it was a pleasure.
you know,
You made me look good.
Well, I'm
And that
happy
was a job and a half.
It was mutual. You inspired me.
Yeah.
You pushed me to the limits sometimes.
Well, thank you.
Well, thank you for your time, mate.
No, thank you very
It was-
much. It's been
thanks
an
a lot.
absolute
Good stuff.
pleasure. I've
Thank
thoroughly
you.
enjoyed it.